Welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. My name is Stacie. And if you are returning, thank you again just for your unwavering support and the encouragement as we all really are in a season of transition, of blooming into the people that God has intended us to be. Strengthening our relationship foremost with God, which transcends into every other area of our life. And I am just honored and privileged that you continue to be here and support me through this process of us growing together. So I know that I know that I've had a rough year. And the reason why I've had a rough year is because I have continued to hold on to my timeline and really not trust God, so to speak, right? Like, I think I've talked about it before that I am I'm a planner, right? Like, at heart, that is my heart to plan, right? And so I think when you turn to God, right, there is an element of constantly laying down your plans. And I think even in the process of surrender, there are still a lot of things that I've been clinging to. And so God really put it on my heart, right, the idea of like laying yourself at the altar, right? And the reason why it was more so speaking about like a relationship, but more so he was just like, put it at the altar, put it at the altar. And so I'm just excited to get into this word, and I'm going to read to you guys just kind of like where I picked up, where it was Abraham in the process of sacrificing Isaac. So this scripture is found in Genesis 22. And so it said, later God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on the mountain I will show you. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out to the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship and we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, Father, yes, my son? Abraham replied, the fire and the wood are here, Isaac said, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the 2 of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Do not lay a hand on the boy, he said. Do not do anything to him. Now I know you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up in the thicket and he saw a ram caught by his horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, the Lord will provide. And to this day, it is said, on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. And so that's the end of 14. And as I was like reading these scriptures and just really trying to understand, right, the process. If you guys aren't familiar with the story, right, like we know that Isaac and his wife were barren and they were unable to have a son, and so in the process they end up using the servant Hagar to like essentially like manufacture the promise, essentially. So that's where Ishmael came in place, and eventually they had the son Isaac. So here he is in this process having the promise, right, like the promise that God has given him, and God is like, I need you to go kill this like promise. Like, I know, like in my mind there have been so many times where like God has like promised me something, right, and he's asked for it back, right, or he has delayed it, right. And so I can just imagine the inner turmoil like Abraham is feeling of just being like, okay, like, I guess I'm giving this back to God. Like, is he mad at me? Like, is he frustrated? Like, was this a prank? Or am I just going to flow in obedience because, like, I know who God is and I have seen him move so many times in my life. And so here he has this promise that God has given him, and God is asking for it back. And one thing that really stood out to me was when the ram popped up, and after God was like, okay, I saw your heart behind your willingness to give this up. And so I think there are so many times where we are finding ourselves consistently like right on the altar, surrendering our plans, surrendering our agendas, surrendering our expectations, right? Surrendering relationships. Like, we may have had this timeline of God moving. We're just like, maybe I should have been married by now. Like, I should have gotten this promotion by now. Like, I should be so much further ahead by now. And we are constantly me focused, and we're not seeing the greatness and the magnitude of who God is, right? Because when God is asking us to surrender something to him, it's not to withhold it from us, right? It's not to say that it's never going to be ours, but can we trust that even in our surrender, he is going to provide everything that we need? And I think what happens often, like all of us, right? We're just like, okay, God, we surrendered our plans. It's on the altar. Like, I'm trusting you. But then we like go back and peep to see if it's ready, right? Like, we're just like, oh, God, is it time? Oh, God, I trust you. But then we're always like trying to put our hands into it. We're trying to manufacture the promise. And sometimes it's not even it's the fact that our ram isn't ready yet, right? Like, when, oh my God, that's so good. Like, our ram isn't ready yet. Like, and part of the reason why maybe the ram isn't ready is because you genuinely aren't ready, right? Like, God is never going to give us something outside of his time, right? Like in Isaiah 60:22, it says, at the right time, God, will make it happen, right? Like, he knows the right time. He knows the right moment. He knows when our hearts are fully devoted and unwilling to make that thing idol. And it's in the moment where he not only bound his son, right? Because it's one thing to bind it and set it down, but it's like, now I'm going to go ahead and slay it. And it was in the moment where he was slaying it where God was like, hey, stop. I believe you, right? Like, it's no longer about you saying that you're ready. It's no longer saying that you're prepared. It's no longer saying that I'm willing to put no other gods before you, but now I can trust and believe because you have utterly decided to destroy the very thing that I am telling you that I'm giving you. But what really caught my attention after the ram popped up is when it goes in verses 15 on, it goes, the angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and you have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all nations on the earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. And I was just thinking, like, how many times have we sacrificed something thinking that it was the promise, only for God to provide us with something beyond our expectations? What if the thing that you believe that you surrendered as the promise is actually not the promise? What if God intended for something that exceeded your own expectations and was greater than what you imagined? I think we have such a narrow focus of who God is, right? And we're just like, well, this is what I wanted, right? This is what you promised me. So this is in my surrender, this is what I'm going to get. And God's like, yeah, no, you thought that was a promise, but that was just a mirror image of what I'm about to do. Yeah, I promised you that relationship, but I'm actually going to give you a relationship that is going to be fruitful and numerous and is going to expand my kingdom. Yeah, you wanted that job promotion, but what if I'm going to allow you to become an entrepreneur, right? Yeah, you wanted to work at this dead-end job, but what if what I actually want to do is make you a manager? Like, I think we have to be okay with not only surrendering the promise, but also allowing God to be God, right? Like, there's this song, oh my God, I love it so much, where it's like, it's all right to raise your expectations of God. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like in my faith walk and in my journey of God and constantly trusting and surrendering Him, I have increased my view of who He is and what He can do. Like, I have seen consistent miracles of who He is where it's just like it literally didn't even make sense. And so if I have this small view of God in the pits of my surrender, then I'm never going to believe for Him for bigger, right? Like, His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. And thank God for that. Thank God that He sees the beginning to the end. Thank God that He knows like everything, right? Like, I think we have to be okay with genuinely surrendering. And so I want you to consistently, like, not only lay it at the altar, but be okay with killing what's on the altar as well. Like, no, it may not have went according to your plan. No, the timeline may have not made sense. Maybe you feel like there is a consistent delay, but can you surrender again? Can you kill the very thing that you are trusting Him for, so that way He can bring you the ram that you need? Because when we trust God for the ram, even if we never get it, He knows that He has our heart, right? Abraham said that God would provide, but did he genuinely believe that, or was that a distraction from feeling like he wasn't prepared to give it? I think we have gone through seasons consistently where God hasn't shown up, where His voice has been mute, where we trusted a timeline that was never His. And I think we have to put ourselves on the altar, put our trust back into God. And sometimes that's like, God, I'm willing to be a sacrifice in this moment. Like, kill everything out of me that is keeping me in a state of idolizing the promise over the process, the promise over the promiser. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great day.